sir.
Alright, ready. Back on mine.
Bet.
That sucks that happened. We probably lost it because people won't come back.
I'm not really sure what it was at when we. Like,
Is this us right now?
Yeah.
We'll wait till there's just at least one person.
A couple people. That's it.
Yeah. That's what you crap. We had 6 people. That's not bad. Considering,
At
like.
one point we had, I think the highest I saw was 9. I'm not sure if we got any higher. That just, when I glanced over, the most we had was 9.
You got 2 in
I
here.
got 2 right now.
Is one of those you? Because I had 0 before.
I've actually never even thought about that. I'm guessing it has to be. One of them has to.
Leave a comment. Who's in here? Just so we know.
I'm the only one.
It was weird. Yours was lagging the whole time, but everyone in the comments said it was fine. I think it's just your data. That's just me. I'm gonna give it like another minute, then we're just gonna go, and hopefully people join. It is what it is. Alright, whatever it is what it is. We're just gonna make this into segments anyway.
Alright.
Where did we leave off?
What was the LeBron talk? You asked me about the, You asked me something. I was saying something.
We're like halfway through. Just want to move on to Patriots.
I guess.
Okay. Alright, so reports have been coming out that I gotta take this out of the book. So reports have been coming out that the Patriots tried to get Odell last year, and the word that they used to describe it was they aggressively went after him. As a Pats fan, I would have loved to seen this happen. With Josh Gordon's suspension, and possibly ban. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. It would have been nice to have another. And even with Josh Gordon, he's way better than Josh Gordon. He's a top easiest thing in the world. I disagree, but top
he's
4.
hot. He's hot.
Top 4 receiver nonetheless, and on his best days he can play like the best one. But with that being said, sorry. So why would the Giants trade him?
I mean, I think the reason why they didn't trade great
Fight back.
and I think having him Odell on the team, and they just signed him, so I think depending on when those trade talks were happening, I'm guessing they were talking about before the trade talks. I mean, before the signing, when he signed his contract. I think I'm just trying to think. What are you looking at?
Will comment. Oh, well, dude. So this one doesn't include you. I wasn't watching. Because remember it said 0. Anyway, keep going.
I totally forgot what I was saying.
You said something about before the deadline, or before the signing.
Off-field issues. He was
very
having
similar to
on-field
Antonio
issues.
Brown.
Yeah, just to a certain extent a little higher, but he
Yeah.
was just having too many issues, and I think that's why they had those trade talks with teams, because teams were offering, like, they wanted him. They thought they could change his mind. Belichick, of course.
Kind of like what he did with Randy Moss.
You can
Randy
turn,
Moss
you can
was a little
turn
bit of a
players
diva.
who have that.
And attitude-wise. But with that being said, should the Giants trade him? Are these locker room problems good enough?
I do not
reason?
think at this point, especially seeing what Barkley did his rookie season.
They're a QB away from the best offense
exactly,
in the league.
That's what I'm saying. And I wouldn't say the best offense in the league, but a potential upcoming years becoming that, depending on who they get. It all depends.
Depends how. I think they're getting Haskins.
Haskins or Murray seems to be the top two options for quarterbacks right now. Is obviously huge on how.
One more year.
Maybe Eli having one more year.
Disagree with.
I would disagree with two, but it all depends on how high Haskins, like if the coaches like off the bat, and
yeah.
I honestly don't think they should trade him. I think he's a huge.
I don't think
he's
so either.
Young,
he's so young, and he just puts up crazy stats. You know, last year was a little bit of a down year for him. Last year was a down year, and this is what he put up: 77 receptions, 1,050 yards, 6 TDs. That's a bad year for him.
And as long as they stay
and that's
together,
with Eli at QB.
More players will be attracted to that.
Oh, 100%.
It's New York.
It's New York, exactly.
I mean,
you have could be the best running back in the league one day, maybe next year.
Mm-hmm.
Odell, top 3 receiver, at least top 4. I have him number 3. Number 6 pick in the draft at QB. You know, the first QB going in that draft. It's a young, promising team in New York. I think it definitely could be a big free agent market destination is what I should say. Mm-hmm. And trading Odell might hurt them.
I think you're gonna get kind of like the Antonio Brown talks. You're gonna get a pick, obviously. They're gonna want 1 or 2 first-round picks. Most likely they're only going to get 1, but I just don't think trading Odell at this point, with the potential Barkley has, potential that the quarterback that they might draft might have, is just a risk that you shouldn't be taking by trading Odell.
So Giants sticking with Odell would be the best move.
Best option.
And you kind of touched on it. That's our next subject. Antonio Brown trade talks. So they met with the owner. Antonio Brown met with the owner. And basically they decided time to move on. You know, he made an Instagram post about it, how he's always going to have respect for the owners of the Steelers organization. They're great owners. You know, they've done a great job with the Steelers over the years. But with that being said, what should the Steelers be wanting? What should the asking price be? What do they need to get for Brown?
He's the best wide receiver in the league.
I agree.
And if you're trading the best player, if you're trading the best wide receiver in the league, you got to want the highest you can get. Whoever you trade, you're gonna want a first-round pick.
No, at least
and in football,
one.
It's hard trading. Like they don't really trade players for players.
No, football's weird.
So, I mean, like kind of like with the Garoppolo trade a couple years ago, potentially with the Browns, they're offering like 2 first-round picks for him. Yeah. I think that's what the Browns. I mean, his contract issue. It's not a bad one. He's getting paid, I think, $15 million next year, and then like 11 and 12 for the next years after. Yeah. He's getting old.
I was about to say his age is getting up there for a receiver.
He's turning 31 pretty soon.
Yeah, for a receiver.
So I would say what they should want in return, they should be expecting a first-round pick, and then after that, at that point, like I said,
you try to push for a third.
At the end,
you get rid of everyone. Juju's young and Connor's young. Yeah. You build a. And I don't necessarily mean a QB this year. You can get one.
They get a new coach. He might want a different style quarterback,
he might go into win now mode. You know,
exactly.
He might. You
never know. Stay on what they want in return and what they're going to use with those picks.
Yeah, exactly. If that can go to win now mode, with
which
Big Ben, maybe get Big Ben one last Super Bowl.
At least one more year.
Maybe get picks and probably defensive players, right?
Their secondary is very weak.
Get a corner and maybe another linebacker because Shazier's that sucks. But
yeah, that's a bad situation for them for sure.
So that brings us on to the next part of the same topic, so to speak. Antonio Brown, you know, he had issues with the Steelers year in and year out, it seemed like, more recently the last 2 years. With all this drama that he causes, it seems, would you want him on your team?
I think any team should want Antonio Brown on your team. He is going to be, no matter what, your number 1 receiver. Their team is just going to put another mindset in his head that he's just like a fresh start.
Yeah.
And I don't think any team should take what's happening in Pittsburgh against him, and I think every team should want Antonio Brown at this point. And if you have to trade a first-round pick for him, I think you got to go for it. I think he's the best wide receiver in the league. You're not going to get any better. I think you got to do what you got to do and trade for him. If it takes a first and a third, I'd do it.
So just to acknowledge Will real quick, he says Julio's the best receiver in the league. What do you have to say to that?
I mean, you can say Julio is the best wide receiver in the league. I mean, it team. It was god awful.
I think he got it week 6.
Yeah,
and he didn't
it
get
was
one.
late.
He only had one last year, I think, or something.
10 catches all the time. I mean, Julio is too. I just think Antonio Brown is just more consistent with his play than Julio is.
The biggest argument for Julio, if you want to make it, is Julio does average the most yards per game in NFL history out of receivers. So you got to he creates more separation than anyone in the league. That's not really debatable.
Great route runner.
But Julio doesn't need separation. He's just going to jump over you.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on your QB. So, like, if I have Matt Stafford, Julio I think is a better fit because he's just going to sling that ball up there and Julio's going to go up and grab it. If you have a precise thrower, you know, say a Baker Mayfield, I think Antonio Brown would suit him better because he's gonna get open and he's gonna hit him right on the money. So it depends on the system. It depends on the quarterback. You can't go wrong with either one.
The perfect Antonio Brown was in a great system for his ability.
And the run game opened it up too. The play actions, everything. And Big Ben, you know, Hall of Fame QB, top 10 all time, arguably.
And that's why people are saying, analysts are saying, Saints, Packers are options for
I've seen that.
Antonio Brown.
You got Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers.
Great. I mean, Big Ben is still a top around there
7
passer in the game. So I think a system where they throw the ball and they have a decent running game, because I think the Packers' running game now is going to be a little down. I think Jamal Williams is I think he can be a pretty solid.
I think he proved himself. Yeah, I think he was solid. I personally would think the Packers is a better fit, football-wise, because I think Antonio Brown needs a QB who's just going to huck the ball up and take chances. Drew Brees doesn't really like that anymore. You know, he likes the safe routes. He's kind of Tom Brady-ish. Aaron Rodgers likes to huck that ball. He likes to throw that down to his receivers, and I don't really see that with Brees. He does it sometimes with Michael Thomas, but a lot of his throws are 15 yards or less. You know, kind of the Tom Brady approach. They don't have the arm they once did. They're precision passers. They're not power passers. Rodgers got both.
Yeah, and they actually had a stat earlier. I saw it. The percentage that Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger were completing 15 yards down the field has gone down 22% since in the last couple of years. It's just gone down.
I think that's Big Ben. You know, his arm just down because Antonio Brown hasn't gone anywhere, really.
No, yeah, I don't. He hasn't at all. The completion percentage is just not the same, and I just think it's Big Ben just wear and tear. And Rodgers still got it in him, and I think Brees still got it in him. He plays in a dome. So the plays that affect him are just not as high.
Agreed. So that sums it up for football, so we'll bring it on to the best sport of all, baseball. Manny Machado signs a 10-year, $300 million deal with the Padres. Last year he hit 297, 37 dingers, 107 RBIs. Good signing for them. Good move for the Padres.
I think it's a good signing. I mean, they haven't made the playoffs in 12 years.
66 and 96 last year.
They just needed a player who would help because they had the number one farm system right now.
Yeah.
So bringing in Machado and having some good, decent young talent around them already, I think will build a market for him. I think it's gonna sell tickets. The whole Padres system is gonna be a lot better having him there. It's just gonna help them out a lot more. And I think in the upcoming years, it's gonna bring more attraction to them. Hosmer went last year, great first baseman. Machado went this year, and I think they're gonna.
You got two great young pieces back to back years. Well, not necessarily young, but two great pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, that's gonna attract more free agents. And San Diego's a nice place. It's not.
I love their park. That's one of my parks.
San Diego's a great baseball field, and it's a great city to live in. It's not Wisconsin. It's not some cold ass place where no one wants to live, like Green Bay, for example, like the Packers. It's changing sports, but you get the point. It's still the same city. Yeah, I like the move, but the Padres kind of desperate. You know, they got to do what they can. They got to get what they can get.
Right now, they're a low market team, so him being on a big team, I think could cause more issues. But him being the leader after 5 years, which I'm guessing he's going to, if he stays healthy and he stays.
Yeah, depends his numbers the previous year. If he's still playing at this level, he will.
Then he'll
go and get another big ass contract.
Yeah, and at that point in 5 years, max contract might be 40.
As a player, just out of context, just straight up as a player, I'm not a fan of him in the sense that his attitude sucks, dude. It really does. And baseball attitude's one of the biggest things because it's such a mental game. You get in your own head, slumps can go on for months.
Big time.
You know, I've experienced it firsthand. So has Thomas.
Big time, yep.
And Machado gets in his own head, and I think he gets in his teammates' head.
Yeah, and that's why in the World Series this year, it just didn't work his way. He finally made it. Played in Baltimore, never really made it Played
Yeah,
in
he
LA,
wanted to win.
Played in LA in a big place, and he hit like what they say 182.
Yeah,
He just
he
didn't.
underperformed.
Yeah, underperformed.
Very similar to Giancarlo Stanton in the playoffs, underperformed big time, striking out left and right. With that being said, overall, like I said, still a good move for the Padres. This is a situation where they need to take this risk. We'll see if he can stay productive for at least, you hope he's a top 5 player for 6 of these years.
Yeah. I mean, he's only 26 years old. He's in his prime.
Yeah, absolute prime at the moment.
He can get better. He can boost that average up. And he's got if he's hitting 300, he can hit better.
Yeah.
If you're able to hit 300,
he could be a 315 hitter.
I could see that happening. The Padres park is bigger, but I still see him putting up the same around the same numbers, 30 and 100, around 300. That's why I see him staying consistently. Yeah.
So that brings us into our last topic with Manny Machado finally getting his free agent decision out of the way. That really only leaves one big ass name left, and that's Bryce Harper, my favorite non-Red Sox player in the league personally. With Manny Machado getting this 10-year, $300 million contract, what does that mean for Bryce's payday, and where's he going?
I think he's gonna get at this point. I think his contract's gonna be bigger. I think
bigger. Okay.
It all depends on how many
he did
years
have a worse year last year.
He did, but I think Bryce Harper is just he's a huge player in the league. Like everyone's money isn't like the worst thing in the world.
Because you're gonna get ticket sales are gonna go up.
And that's
like,
just gonna help your
top
whole team
3 faces of the league, I think.
And Harper, like we said before, Harper had a down year last year.
Yeah, he's in 249.
Depending on, it all depends on the years too. But if he say he gets the same years, I say he gets at least 34 to 35 million. I think he'll get more than Machado. What comment say?
He isn't good. What was his average last year? That is worse than Machado's way overvalued. He's talking about Bryce Harper. Yeah, Bryce Harper hit 249 last year, 34 dingers, 100 RBIs even. He's a 280 career hitter. I don't agree that he's overvalued though.
I wouldn't say so either.
No. If you want to say Bryce Harper has an argument for the best player, I don't think he's that level. Top 5, probably, definitely top 10.
For an overall player?
Yeah.
It's hard because people
have different
pitchers.
Yeah,
pitchers
I'm saying non-pitchers.
Yes, dominant. So, on a good year, other than last year, Bryce Harper easily top 10 player.
Yeah, he's had a 330 career
doubt.
year.
Yeah, no doubt.
330 average one year when he won his MVP.
No doubt, top 10 player.
If we're going based off last year, so like you were saying that brings ticket sales, so he might get more than Manny. Who knows? Is like a 10-year. 320 mil?
That's what I'm saying. I say a little bit more, 34, somewhere around there, 34, 33, 34, 35, somewhere around there. I think he'll get bigger contract. I also don't think he's gonna sign that 10 years. I think around 8 years is where he's gonna be at. In 8 years, probably 250 is probably around where I'd be at.
Will says to value him next to Machado is a joke. He took a swing at Papelbon, lacks maturity. Didn't Papelbon choke him first? Or am I remembering that?
More than that. More than 3
Was
years
it?
ago, yeah.
It was a while ago.
They're both got.
And come on, don't act like Machado doesn't have moments like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Him and Pedroia, one of the nicest dudes in the league, got in a little.
Yeah, who argues with Pedroia?
That's what I'm saying.
Seriously.
Yeah. So it happens. Arguments like that happen. That's not something to take away from Harper and say that he is not as good as Machado or as undervalued as Machado.
No, at the very least, I see him getting 28 a year. I don't see him getting any less than that. I see him getting 34.
With the Machado signing, I say he gets more. And he's got Scott Boras as his agent. Scott Boras is the #1 agent.
He's like the Rich Paul of the MLB.
He gets, like I said, he's the biggest.
He's going to get them the best deal.
He's going to get the best deal for Harper, knowing that Machado just got $30 million. That money. A team who has the money, like the Phillies, I say.
Is that where you're thinking he's going?
I thought this the whole way through. I thought Machado and Harper had a chance to go in there. I thought Machado was going to go.
New deal, actually.
I can't remember exactly what the White Sox offered him.
It wasn't as much, though.
No, but they were stunned when they found out that the Padres were like
offered him more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they beat that offer. I mean, that's
like
insane.
I said, with Boras being his agent, knowing that Machado just got $30 million, he's gonna want Harper getting more, and he's gonna get it as well.
So that covers all the topics. Thank you to everyone who watched. We're gonna be going live tomorrow. It'll be a lot better. We figured out some issues with the live. We addressed them. I think there will be no interruptions. There's a point where my computer died. We were not prepared.